Also known as chanoyu or chado, the Japanese tea ceremony is a traditional Japanese practice that has been passed down for centuries. It is a ceremonial way of preparing and drinking green tea, typically in a traditional tea room with a tatami floor. The ceremony is not just about serving and receiving tea. It is also a way to enjoy the hospitality of the host in an atmosphere that is different from the fast pace of everyday life. In today's video, we will explore the art and rituals of the Japanese tea ceremony, explaining its significance and demonstrating the process. But before we dive in, do take a moment to smash that like button and subscribe to our channel. The tea ceremony was an elite artistic pursuit that provided a forum for the rulers of Japan, the warrior elite, and wealthy merchants to forge and reinforce social ties. It is a very important ceremony in Japanese culture because it used to be practiced only by the elite monks and noble warlords for most of history. It is also a very significant cultural activity that combines silence, respect, and symbolic purification all together. Although today, some Japanese perform tea ceremonies just as a hobby, a lot of people consider it a form of traditional art and call it the art of tea. The purpose of the Japanese tea ceremony is to create bonding between the host and guest, as well as gain inner peace. While the ceremony is mostly about bonding between the host and the guest, it is a meditational activity too. The tea ceremony is a multi-step process that requires careful attention to detail and a deep understanding of the art form. In the first step, which is invitation, a few weeks before the ceremony, the host will send formal invitations to the guests, select the tea bowl and utensils for the ceremony, order the wagashi sweets, and prepare the decor. After invitation comes the next step called preparation. In this step, the host will make sure that the room is clean on the day of the tea ceremony. A fresh seasonal flower arrangement is displayed, and the tools are laid out properly. The guests, on the other hand, also prepare themselves spiritually. They wash their hands outside the tea ceremony room in a symbolic gesture of purification. The third step is receiving the guests. As the host invites the guests into the tea ceremony room, each guest climbs through a very small door in the tea ceremony room, bowing to enter the room as a gesture of humility. The seating arrangement is also important, with guests that are more experienced in the tea ceremony being served first. As the guests are welcomed by the host, sweets are served to them one by one. After that comes the next step, which is purification of the tools. At the start of the Japanese tea ceremony, the host performs a ritual purification of the tea utensils, using a silk cloth called fukasa to cleanse them one by one. Additionally, the host warms up the tea bowl with hot water and purifies the whisk in the water. Although the tools have already been cleaned before the ceremony, this step is a symbolic gesture of purifying the guests' souls. For the next step, which is preparing thick matcha, the host will prepare a koicha, which is thick matcha, using 2 or 3 scoops of matcha tea and some water before it is whisked with the chasen until foamy. The koicha is then served to the principal guest first, followed by the next guest, and so on until there is no more tea. The sixth step is preparing thin matcha. In this step, the host will prepare usucha, which is thin matcha. The ratio of matcha to water is about 1 teaspoon of matcha to 1 cup of water. The usucha is served similarly to koicha, with guests each taking turns. For the next step, which is cleaning the tools, the host cleans the tea ceremony tools following the usucha. The principal guest, who will then be handed a clean chawan, which is a tea bowl, to admire, will then pass it to the other guests. In the 8th and final step, which is departure, the host will show the guests out at the end of the tea ceremony, bowing to each as they leave. It is customary for guests to thank their host for their hospitality the day after. The Japanese tea ceremony is a beautiful and intricate art form that has been passed down for centuries. The ceremony, which is a multi-step process that requires careful attention to detail and a deep understanding of the art form, is a beautiful and meaningful way to connect with others and find inner peace. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you don't want to miss out on our upcoming videos. Thanks for watching.